Concord, North Carolina, here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The speedway that was opened in 1960, home to hundreds of the most famous NASCAR events to date. And tonight's home to the Adrenaline iRacing League here tonight for 134 laps of racing action. And from all of us here at LSR TV, we'd like to say hello and welcome race fans. From myself, Brandon Kreutz, and Jeff Stabnow, and Cody Wooten behind the cameras here tonight. And Jeff, it's bound to be a good race, as we know. You're a fast driver in the sim tonight. Joining us in the booth is what are these guys going to have to look out for here tonight on the high banks of Charlotte?
Well, with this version of truck that we've got going on right now, especially on the fixed sets, it's all about protecting that right front tire. Everything you can do to protect that. Tonight we've got a gripped up track. We've got cool temperatures, gripped up track. These guys are, it's going to be easy to push that in early going. It's going to be easy to put heat in that right front tire. And, you want to use it up early and everything inside of you screams to do that. But at the end of the day, this is going to be all about protecting that right front tire.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that right front tire, you have to protect that. And we've seen guys end up blowing that right front, and it could be a night ender. If you blow the tire, you end up with the outside safer barrier, and that's something that you don't want to see. These guys turning pretty fast lap times around this place tonight. Track temperature sitting around 81 degrees, air temp around 78, clear skies, so perfect racing conditions for these drivers here on the night. And time sitting for practice at around 30.070 for your fastest time in practice, and that's Jared Mathayo. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Again, I apologize for any mispronunciations. Matt Dyer sitting in second with a 30.074, so time's just a couple of thousandths off from each other, as these guys all racing on the same setup here tonight, I do believe.
Yeah, actually, or absolutely, fixed racing here tonight from Charlotte. We've got those first three separated by less than 100th of a second there in times. And, actually, even the first four, probably about 100th of a second apart. So, clearly these guys have got some laps in. They're all running the same line. There's a fast line here at Charlotte, and then there's probably a little bit slower line around the outside that may come in a little bit later if we can get some rubber up there and some heat. Not sure if 19 trucks can get that second groove going, but for the most part, this becomes kind of a single line raceway if they can't get that going.
Seeing a lot of our normal fast drivers in here, and a couple of the names that I really haven't seen much of before. But so we do have our normal. We got Matt Dyer up there, and Jared up at the top of the 51 machine, and seeing a couple of guys faster guys that really haven't turned many laps here in practice, that I do expect to be up front here as qualifying progresses. And just about a minute or so before we head into this qualifying session, these guys will get a total of 2 laps to try to turn the top time here tonight. So should be a good event here, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. I'm actually not very familiar with the guys in this league, so I get to learn as we go along, which makes that exciting. I don't have any pre-notions coming into this. I think Josh Culley there in the 33, I've raced with him before, and he's a really good driver, heck of a driver. And Shane Terrian, I've seen him in some other leagues that I've helped out in on occasion. Other than that, I think this is a new crew to me, so I'm looking forward to kind of watching this and see how this unfolds myself.
Absolutely. And so as qualifying or practice wraps up, rather, these guys will head into time trials and try to turn what should be or try to get the fastest lap. As I think here tonight, you want to try to start up in the top 10 if you can. These 134 laps will tick by pretty quick. It's not too long of a race here for these guys, but these trucks can be a handful at times. So practice time is up. These guys will head in 5 minutes, 2 laps of qualifying, and then we'll get to racing action.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think, a lot of times there's 2 strategies. Do I take the EOL? Do I go to the back? Do I try to miss some of that mayhem early on? or do I get up front? I'm a fan of getting up front. I think trying to move through traffic, especially on a track like this, is a lot more difficult to actually save that tire. So often you use those tires up. As we see these guys getting out there on the track, that takes their times, but trying to come through traffic, especially if, rubber is so important to tire wear. And if that second groove doesn't get rubbered in, you will eat those tires up trying to run that second groove and get by guys. So if I'm racing tonight, I'm absolutely going for the front. And I guess we'll find out what these guys are going to do, as we've got several drivers on the track now.
Several drivers on track at the moment, as we see the first few guys out there right now and waiting for the first times to come in. I do expect around 30-0, about the same as we saw in practice here. Track time's not going to change too much as the night goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. The practice, you get a little bit of draft there that maybe helps you with a 10th. So maybe we'll be just a little bit off that pace if those were indeed draft times, as they can't tape up these sets. But I'm watching Steve Durham out there now, and it looks like these guys are going for the fast lap on lap 2 here. First lap's kind of a get up to speed lap there. It looks like maybe not heat the tires up too much, run a little bit higher off that line. When you actually get onto that money lap, I think you want to paint that line down there in 1 and 2, and probably bring it right down and paint that line again right in the center of 3 and 4. Looks like Christian Gomez to the top of the board so far with a 30.249. And just as I say that, Dylan Browning goes up there with a 30.232.
All right, well, it looks like I am coming down from the booth. Had to get stuff ready, Jeff, as Brandon just got a fire call. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes. So, Jeff, we get to work together again. So I had to run down from the booth here to come help you. But, Dylan, again, trying to get the last name on that one. Poteet, I believe is how you pronounce it, is the fastest right now. It'll be interesting to see how these guys do end up playing out in qualifying. And, of course, it's going to make it interesting for that race. 134 laps, as y'all discussed earlier. Again, not a huge amount of race. So, with a lower car count, we could see some green flag racing and pit stops here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. 200 miles, in a 19 car count here in Charlotte being, it's really kind of one of those tracks that's easier to get around, but it's also easier to push to the limit. Yeah, I would expect that we're going to see some green flag pit stops, some nice long runs. Hopefully these guys pace themselves a little bit for a 200-mile race. And, yeah, it looks like Dylan Poteet to the top of the board, followed by Jared Mathau. I'm sure I'm messing up a couple of these names, and I apologize to you guys ahead of time. I am new to these guys, but looks like... I'm not sure I'm seeing anybody out there, so maybe we've got all the qualifying times we're going to get. Nope. I do see Logan Brakey out there now.
He's out there. Tanner Johnson up there. The one we're going to watch here as he's coming to the line, who changed his number from 11 to 3, but he tends to be number 1 on the track. That is Ryan Hartz. And that to be said, you can't overlook Bronson Stafford or Shane Theory, and these guys going to give him a run for his money. Of course, they're all on a team as well. So definitely those guys are going to be someone to watch here. I know you're all familiar with the guys we watch, as you're obviously one of them over in the Northwest club there. So you've got those guys you got to watch, but then again, we say you can't really count anybody out at any time, as you really never know who is going to be coming away to victory as it's racing. And anything can happen and will happen on a racetrack.
Yeah, anything can and does. There's plenty of guys in here, just looking at some of their I ratings, and you mentioned a couple names that I am familiar with that are capable of beating anyone on a given night. Ryan Hartz, though, with a blistering time, probably just almost a tenth faster than anything we even saw in practice tonight, with a 29.992 at the pole there. So definitely, somebody we're going to have to watch tonight.
Yes, looks like we are ready for the grid, so I'll go ahead and run through the grid for us for tonight's race. On the pole is going to be that number 3 of Ryan Hart. On his outside is going to be the 31 of Dylan Petit. A new driver here to the series. Row 2 is going to be the 51 of Jared Matthew and the 48 of Christian Gomez. Row 3 is going to be the 10 of Steve Durham and the 84 of Matt Dyer, followed by Dylan Browning in the 12 and Tom Bourne in the 21, the 29 of Logan Brakey, and the 23 of Tanner Johnson. And then, of course, you have Justin Till in the 32, and then the 63 of Alex Walter. As we go through the rest of your grid here, it is going to be Austin Retorix in the 15 and Calvin Retorix in 14th in that number 89 or 98 machine. Going to be starting side by side, being an interesting battle there. The 38 of Shane Therian and the 33 of Josh Coley, followed by the 46 of Trenton Jump and the 61 of Bronson Stafford. And rounding out your grid here tonight is going to be the 53 of Eric Stamp and the 57 of Matthew Rodriguez. And of course, that is going to do it for your starting grid here tonight as they are set to roll off of the track, or off of the pits anyway. And Jeff, I love this track. It's one of the few ones now that they've rescanned. They don't start them in the pits. They start them sideways right in front of the fans.
Yeah, this one's unique in the way that it starts in front of the fans. And, of course, I love the way these trucks look at night. And with the new painting methods allowed to us by iRacing, you get some real showpieces out there. And I've seen a few of them that are just real nice paint jobs out there tonight. So, kudos to these guys and their paint jobs, and then of course the iRacing guys for their Charlotte night work and just allowing you to show off what you've got here on your channel.
Yeah, we absolutely love it. They do everything they can to make us look good. So, of course, in return, we try to make them look good as too. And speaking of making them look good, if you don't have anything to do, and you miss the real racing, because we all do, check out iRacing.com, a world leading in sim motorsports. Right now, I believe there is 50% off for new members. Don't quote us on that, but I believe I saw that just the other day, as you can get in, I believe it's $110 a year, so half that, you're looking at about $60 to start your iRacing career. And Jeff, I think you can attest to, once you get started, you're kind of hooked.
Well, yeah, there's just so much going on here. I think, it used to be that we tried to explain what this is, but I think if you've been watching any TV here lately in NASCAR, we've got 2 weeks in a row where iRacing's been on Fox TV here. If you're an IndyCar fan, they just had all the professional IndyCar drivers. We've had IMSA events here with the IMSA drivers in them here recently. So if you're a fan of any kind of racing, you're probably familiar with iRacing by now. But, yeah, for a guy like me, it's addictive.
It definitely is. Fortunately, I haven't got to race in a while, in 2017. However, I get to live my life through y'all drivers as we are racing here as the green flag is out. Again, 134 laps. We get a nice, clean start from everybody as these trucks shining under the lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway at nighttime, and good battles going on really from about third place on, as those front ones have kind of sorted out.
Yeah, and you got a couple guys still out there in that second row. Once you get about 4 or 5 deep here in this, you've got to kind of balance that, looking for a place to slot in. Not sure how this track rubbered up during their practice, but usually without that rubber and that outside line, you don't really want to run out there too long early. It really does eat up those tires if you're not running on the rubber or the rubbered in part of the track here. So that and when you're mostly on throttle, that outside line can be a slow place to be.
It very well can be. And, we speak about throttle here. Let's take a look here. We can see their driver's top speed on the left side of your screen. Right about everybody hitting 188 miles an hour, 89 for some like Durham and Browning and Petit. You get deeper in these fields, these guys are only hitting around 181, 182. Jeff, you're the racing expert. Is that just because of how the line is, or is that because they're deep in this field and having to check up a little bit more?
Well, I think it's all the above. You get up front, right? You get clean air, which does matter, and it does help. But you also get to run your line. You get to go from the outside wall to the inside wall. You can use the whole track. You get to make that corner wider. So that helps tremendously. And you're not trying to give the guy ahead of you a little bit of room in case something happens. And, you know, if you're in the back right now, you may want to just ride, and you're just trying to leave a safe distance between you and the car in front of you, so they have to check up for something. You don't end up totaling your rig this early in the race. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why the guys in the back are running slower. And you know, the last reason would be is that's where they qualified, and the slower guys kind of naturally ended up in the back. So, could be a lot of reasons.
And, you know, you talk about, for a minute here, we always bring the term freight train going on. Typically, we talk about it at somewhere like town, which is good. You don't want to see drivers, you know, pressing too many issues. That's where wrecks come in. And you don't really want to have a wreck this early in the race because they do not have a safety line here or a fast repair, anything like that. So if you wreck out, you're done for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, with this new tire model that we've talked about so much, it was a little bit of a game changer. And it took away that second line from us in a little bit of dynamic track right now. It's not so much about getting heat in the track and getting heat in that line. It's about getting on top of that rubber. You know, protecting that right front and running on that rubber is so important that it just takes a lot longer to get that second groove rubbered in. And so it's a lot harder to get, you know, to get something going on those outside lines. And so, again, you'll have a lot of guys just kind of single file up, and now they're more opportunists than just, they're looking for that opportunity to make that move as opposed to just trying to run on the outside and just brute power by everybody.
Yeah, they definitely have to be methodical and very clean out here. As you notice, I saw the three there running right down on the bottom line here. You've been around this track. Is there a really preferred line this, or is this track a multi-groove track? Are we going to see passes on the inside or the outside here tonight?
Well, early on, we're going to see these guys painting the lines, the inside lines. That's going to be the fastest way around this track, is to get right down in those lines. You'll see them here in the middle of 3 and 4. Put those tires right on that line. You'll watch them in 1 and 2, maybe get within about a foot of that line. That is the fastest way around the track. Now, when the tires start to wear and the guys on the inside start to lift more, you know, you can kind of pinch them down a little bit and not allow them to get back to that throttle so much. And if you're on the outside, then you can get a bigger run down the straightaway. And so you can make some moves on that outside line. But again, you know, we need the tires to wear for that to happen, and we need to get some rubber in that outside line. And if those two things happen, you know, we can see some multi-groove racing here where we got a bunch of cars running side by side, and a lot of passes happen on the outside.
And while we have a moment here, we're going to pull some levels. We're going to go to our leader, Ryan Hartz, and I'll pull up some lap history here. Ryan Hartz versus 4th place Browning. Just to kind of gap it out just a little bit there, you're looking at those last times. 30.0, 30.2, 30.3, 30.3 again, and at 30.4, just from laps 6 to 10, you're already starting to see that little bit of a fall off there. So it's going to be interesting to see how much more fall off we do see. At the rate they're going, now at 30.5 for lap 11, we very well could see 31s, maybe pushing 32-second laps before this green flag stop happens.
Yeah, I would expect, and I haven't run this track in a little while here, but I would expect to see lap times fall off, you know, somewhere in that 1.5 to 2 second range over a full field run. Looks like things are starting to heat up. They're about mid-pack. We've got some moves happening. Shane Terrian just made a couple passes here. Looks like the 46 and the 23, just our Tanner Johnson there was, looks like he was just under assault there a few seconds ago. So we've got some moves starting to happen mid-pack here.
And just see that, you got Josh Coley trying to make a move on the 23 machine of Tanner Johnson. It'll be interesting to see if he can make that. And no, he hits the outside wall, and that collects the 61. But in racing fashion, they collect it, and we stay green. No caution going to be coming out for that.
Meanwhile, right up ahead of them, right as that happens, Tanner Johnson busts to the inside there and tries to get by Justin Teal there. So big mix-ups of running order happening here in the middle of the pack right now, but single file up front.
Yeah, single file in the front. They got the train going back there, and they're really starting to mix it up here because of the 33 and the 61 collecting there together. That allowed the 53 and the 15 of Austin Gretorix and Eric Stamp to get by, and it looks like it's going to allow the 98 of Calvin Gretorix to get by as well. Shuffling those guys back to the back of the field. But we go to the front. They're starting to mix it up a little bit. Is that 31 of Dylan Petit is trying to get by the 21 of Tom Bourne, and I think he'll make this pass here in the next lap or so.
Yeah, things are also starting to get a little bit hot up there. Been watching Shane Terrian a little bit too, mid-pack again, P11. He's been the fastest guy pretty much the last few laps. Of course, he's got his own little groove right down and able to use the whole track, but he seems to have some speed, and I'm kind of watching him. I think he might run down this pack here shortly.
As we have their last lap times up onto the screen, so we can check those out. Again, we're seeing 31 O's for Logan Brakey. Shane Therian a 30.962. Everybody else in the 31s except for Trenton Jump with a 30.858. So he's actually, that last lap was a little bit faster than Therian, but those two definitely the fastest two out on track right now.
Yeah, definitely moving up. They caught up to Alex Walter right now, so looks like Alex Walter is going to kind of let them by without a contest here. These two guys on the move and coming through the field right now, Shane Terrian and Trenton Jump. So we'll see if they can get up there with the leaders and mix it up.
Yeah, as they are on their way, and you talk about the leaders, Ryan Hartz is on the move. He's going to try to get back up there to Jared Matthew. We'll see if he can. But again, the battle's not too heavy up here at the front until you get back to the 12 and the 21. Is again the 21 of Tom Bourne trying to get by Browning, and he's going to complete that pass here as they complete that lap of number 18. We are on lap 19, 18 down of the 134 laps, and they're starting to mix it up again here in the back.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit racy everywhere too. Looking at Steve Durham, and just as I say that, they kind of spread out, but right behind Steve Durham there's a pack of three, Dylan Poteet, Tom Bourne. These guys were just getting a little bit racy there, side by side, Dylan Browning and Matt Dyer right now, with Matt Dyer just completing that pass. So a lot of action throughout this pack right now.
Yeah, as we're going to quickly take a look here. Well, we maybe won't. The 53 went through the grass. He didn't wreck it, so I'm not sure what happened there, but there for a second it did say he went off track. That's going to cost him at least one spot, so we'll see. Meanwhile, Ryan Hartz took the lead, so we are going to go back and take a look at that here on the replay. Very quickly, is again, not something that would bring out a caution, but we have the ability to look at it, so why not? We missed it, as this is the pass for the lead. He did what you said. The bottom line, Jeff, as you were talking about, was the line that made this pass, I do believe. But that 51 of Jared Matthew did not make it easy on him.
Yeah, and we've got 20 laps on these tires now. So here's about the time where you're going to see these tires probably start wearing a little bit on these guys. And if we're going to see some moves being made on the outside line, this is where it is. And to do that, you're probably going to have to pinch a guy down a little bit getting off, keep him from getting back into that throttle, and then get that run off that corner and try to get the guy down the straight. But might be a little early in the race for that rubber-wise, but this is about where you might start looking for that in a run.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking for it as the 21 of Tom Bourne takes it, and Matt Dyer, he is going to go ahead and come down, but I have a feeling he got in just a little bit hot coming down pit road, and there is Tanner Johnson coming with him.
Yeah, I didn't even check. Do we have a fuel restriction in this league, Charles? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit new to these guys, but a little surprised to see them pitting already.
To be honest, it's never brought 'em up. This should be probably right about when they come down. Some of these guys I would think be able to go a few more laps, as Bronson Stafford's going to come down as well in the 61. And here comes Dylan Poteet. So this must be the beginning of fuel windows here. So about 22, 23 laps is what we're getting on fuel here at Charlotte with these trucks.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I think with a half a fuel load, you're probably looking at somewhere in the 26 laps on a tank, 26, 20 laps, 7 laps, somewhere in there. So they could be coming in a few laps early here to be breaking up the strategy. It'll be interesting to see if that is the case and they are running a half load. We're going to see everybody probably pitting here in the next 3 to 4 lap stops.
Yeah, and you really have to talk about strategy here because if you come down, if it's a 26 lap fuel load and you come down at lap 25, you do the math there, that's 25, 50, 75, 100. You're going to have to come down at least 5 times here tonight. So that'll be interesting as Dylan Browning comes in, but your leaders have not yet, as we are on lap number 25 going to lap number 26. So either these guys came in way early or their front leaders are going to be coming in this next time by. Of course, that's something we'll find out here in just a few moments as they're going to be coming down the backstretch right now.
Yeah, not sure if we missed something. There was a little bit of radio chatter there that I saw come up. Couldn't make it out. So not sure if a couple guys maybe got into each other. Although I hear more cars talking about pitting right now, so this does seem like it's a little bit more of a regularly scheduled and maybe lends itself a little bit more, to being that we've got to reduce fuel load here.
Yeah, and we do see just about everybody but the top 4 have come in right now, and we have to talk about it. Unfortunately, we don't want to bring it up to you, Jeff, but we know we got to is you've been the victim of it as well. This is the wrong time. You do not want to see a caution right now if you're these guys that are a lap down, as we've seen that happen before. You get trapped a lap down when you got a fast car, and it's definitely frustrating.
It is, but there's enough time. If it's going to happen, this is when you want it to happen, early in the race, especially if we're thinking that we've got, 3, 4, 5 pit stops here tonight. There's chances to get your wave around and things like that. But certainly, that seems to be the theme of my season so far, and it does happen, and that is the last thing you want to see, the driver out there.
And it looks like Tom Bourne is into the pits, and we checked in. He had a solid stop. He's coming out now 16.87 seconds, a little slower than I'm sure he wanted, but not the only one. We've seen a couple of 16-second pit stops here. As right now, and now Eric Stamp's going to be coming down in the 53 as he went through the grass earlier. He's going to get to a stop, but he hits his pit wall trying to get in. I'm not sure how much damage he did, but he is going to go ahead and get serviced. And now Ryan Hartz is going to give up the lead as he comes down pit road.
Yeah, we had a couple guys on pit road for nearly 30 seconds, too, which makes me think maybe we missed a little bit of contact on the track that preceded those pit stops a little bit. Looked like Dylan Poteet and Austin Gritoro. I'm sorry, I just killed that name. But looked like they had some long pit stops and long time getting down pit road. So maybe they had a little bit of a incident getting down pit road or something. Not sure, but definitely not what you want to have happen there on green flag pit stops.
Yeah, it's definitely not. As Austin Gretorix said 27.62, almost 30 seconds, along with Dylan Poteet, like you mentioned, 28.23. So times that you definitely do not want to see. And it looks like Matthew Rodriguez and Tanner Johnson have retired them, I do believe, as they are no longer on the racing surface. So 2 drivers out of this race, as we'll show you there on the overlays. As of right now, there's about 6 drivers not on the lead lap. Of course, 2 of them out of the race. Stafford, Poteet, and Stamp really want to get their lap back. But again, we mentioned it with a lower car count of only 20 drivers. the odds of a caution happening are becoming slimmer and slimmer the longer we go, and that is not good odds if you're trying to get that lap back.
Yeah, while we were talking there, Charles, I think we had a lead change up front. We've got Matt Dyer in the lead right now. Shane Terrian's in second. Trenton Jump in third. And Ryan Hart cycles up to fourth there after those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, and that'd be good to see if they can, these guys can get it back. Again, Matt Dyer, a very, very formidable competitor in this series. But Shane Terrian, anytime you're going to see that evil controllers 38 running you down, I almost compare it to having, that black 3 coming. He's fast, and he will get through the front if he has the truck to do it. And we'll see that gap we're looking at through 4.3 seconds, and it is dropping right now.
Well, speaking of that number 3, we've got the number 3 in this race is Ryan Hart. He's the guy that was up front to start things off, and he is coming back through that field. He's up to third place. He just went right by the 46 of Trenton Jump, who we highlighted earlier as being extremely fast, and immediately put about a 5-car gap on him. So the number 3 there with that black hood, Ryan Hart, looks like he's on a mission and trying to get back up front there.
He definitely is, and we threw up on your screen as they come by the line. You'll see their last time, and we're already seeing those 30.6s, 30.9s, and some 31. So, as we swap that out real fast, let's look at their last time on pit lane as we pull that up onto the screen. Lap 22 for some of these guys, lap 24, lap 30 for others, as we're on 35. So they seem like they just came down, but already we're starting to see that tire wear once again creep into the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got big discrepancies in tires. You go first place, we've got several laps on those first place tires where you got Ryan Hart's, who's got about 6 laps on his tires. And, I think we've got almost a half-second difference in speed there right now.
And looks like, and you talk about speed difference, up to second place, as we talked about the 38 being fast, you talked about the 3 being fast, and here they come now. Ryan Hart's is all over the back bumper of Shane Terrian, and we may have a new second place very quickly. And as quick as that 3 of Ryan Hart's caught up to the 38, makes you wonder how quick he's going to catch our leader, as right now that gap is about 3.8 seconds, but I have a feeling it's about to close down pretty quick.
Yeah, leader's got even older tires, too. That's a difference of 5 laps. We know that Shane Terrian's fast, Ryan Hart's fast. Ryan Hart's got about 5 laps fresher tires on there. We're getting to the spot where maybe they're going to start equalizing a little bit, but, he's already put 2 or 3 car lengths on him. And, he's just, we'll see. There's still quite a gap to that leader, but, at about a half a second a lap right now. I think it's still about a half second a lap, so shouldn't be too long before he's up there.
Yeah, and as I was talking about earlier, I said Tanner Johnson and Matthew Rodriguez were out of the race. That is not the case anymore. Those two back in the race. Of course, 9 laps down and 10 laps down. And as I say that, Matthew Rodriguez down pit lane. And there goes Steve Durham. He's coming down pit lane as well. He was not one of them a lap down. They were last down pit lane about 24 laps ago. So just like that, we're here for our second round of pit stops starting.
Yeah, that's seems again a little bit early here, given the fact that most of these guys are, maybe hitting lap 15 on these tires right now, or a lot of these last guys at pits are somewhere between 10 and 15. So to be pitting again right now on lap 40 makes me wonder if we don't have some damage or something going on there.
Yeah, and I didn't see any, but again, just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. You can get, damage to the engine, or, just a slight damage to it. As even you can see right there on the 84 we're watching, slight damage to the back of his truck. As Ryan Hart, I told you he'd catch him. He cut that 3.8 second lead now to 2.2. So he is moving here tonight. He has a rocket ship, I would imagine.
Well, and he's got about 7-lap fresher tires too, but obviously, looking at qualifying there, I think he was a 10th faster than second place, which is a pretty big difference on qualifying. So we know he's already a fast driver. We can look at his the rating that iRacing gives him and see that he's pretty high rated driver in this field too. So we know he's fast, and we know he's on fresher tires, so not a surprise to see him eat that gap up.
Yeah, an A class with 6.3 thousand I rating. You know, and you talk about that. That's getting up there to some of these pro drivers to what they have. And by far the highest I rating here in this series. We'll see, there. And I rating, as we all know, is, a good, factor for judging things. But it really doesn't mean everything. You can have somebody with a rookie that doesn't do any official and only does hosting and league, and they can come in here and wax the floor pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't discount anybody because they don't have a higher rating. It does allow us to kind of identify some guys who should be fast. We can look at that I rating and say, okay, they got that for a reason, they're fast. But there are plenty of super fast guys that don't have higher I ratings, just for, like you said, they just run league races.
And it looks like maybe some issues there for the Shane there, and he's going to lose another spot to Trenton Jump. And again, I say issues. It very well could just be tires, but tires fading is an issue.
Yeah, so we've got some more takers on pit road here. Seeing some long pit stops too, making me wonder here. Justin Teal being one of them. I suspect he's fixing a lot of damage. Maybe some of those early pit stops were damaged, but we've definitely got a second round of pit stops underway here.
As you see the latest one, Christian Gomez is going to be coming down, and there's that 33 of Josh Goley coming down, as well as Eric Stamp. So pit stops definitely underway, and now Bronson Stafford coming down in the 61.
Ryan Hartz is one driver who's not coming down, though, and he's still putting some blistering laps down out there. 16 laps on his tires, still turning less than 31 second laps right now. The only driver in the field doing that hasn't recently come in and grabbed new tires. Ryan Hartz, that man's on a rocket tonight.
He is, as we're checking in on the pit there once again. You see these guys. The last time for Ryan Hartz that he was on pit road was lap 29, lap 30 for Jared Matthew in second, and these guys you see recently lap 40, 44, 43. These are the ones that just came down, and right now the latest one to come down, or the highest one in, Shane Therian on lap 45, as he's dropping a few spots here, but he'll get those back, I'm sure. But quite a bit of difference in the pit strategies here. When you talk about lap, say 25 versus lap 30, when they came down, just to give reference numbers, that's a 5-lap difference. That's going to be a big difference in strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it works both ways. You're also losing a second lap every second you wait. For Ryan Hartz, it makes sense to wait as long as he can. He's built up a pretty good lead. He was able to run him down on that second run. But for some of these other guys who are pitting early, it's a great way to make up some track position. As these tires wear, you're about a second slower. You cut some of that time off. As long as it doesn't, add up to an extra stop, it's a good way to maybe get some track position back, maybe get a few places, and should a caution come back out, maybe you start a little bit closer to the front and you don't get hung up on so many cars trying to come through the field this time.
Yeah, as Ryan Hartz does make it down pit road, and now Jared Matthew in the 51, he decided it's time for him to come down as well, and he really locks up the brakes getting into pit road, as he had a full head of steam coming down. As right now, he's still the race leader, and there goes Alex Walter. He'll take over the lead and has not come down. He has 25 laps on this stint.
Yeah, he's got 25 laps, and right behind him, he's got Jared Matthew there, who's got about 19 laps on his. So We'll see if Jared can run him down. There's a pretty good gap, so not sure that they can do that before pit stops here.
Well, I definitely see as Steve Durham in the third position. Now he'll take second as Matthew comes down. He's gained 3. Alex Walter gained 11 since the start of this race. And Steve Durham going to get passed by Shane Therian, who came out, got fresh tires, and he's showing what that truck can do. He has 13 spots gained since the start of this race.
Yeah, my mistake on that last call. Jared Matthew was already up pit lane. We'd already watched him pull down. So Alex Walter looks like he's the last guy to pit on this strategy. So he's staying out there, the last guy on 20 lap plus tires, hoping that a caution comes out.
Yeah,
and trap some of these guys lap down.
Yeah, last put down pit road on lap 25. Everyone else out there around lap 45 to 48 is when they came down. So he's definitely counting on a caution. Something going to happen for him that he can trap these guys a lap down, or at least be able to come down before everyone passes him, because he's going to need fresh tires very quickly. And I want to check on his last 5 laps here, as we'll pull those up onto the screen here. Lap 48, a 31.659, and lap 52 was a, well, there we go, a 31.9. So laps are definitely getting slower. As just in 5 laps, he's lost about 3/10. And here comes the 84 trying to get his lap back.
And, while we were talking about Jared Matthew there, and he was confusing me a little bit, I just realized that he was down there on pit road for almost a minute and a half, and he looked like he came down there. Well, he pitted from the lead. Looked like he had a reasonably clean truck. So not sure what happened there, but something definitely happened as he lost quite a few laps there on pit road.
That he did. 57-second pit stop. That is definitely more than you want to spend on pit road. Ideally, you want to spend about 14-15 seconds. And speaking of pit road, there goes Alex Walter, as he is going to bring it down as the caution comes out for Shane Therian. As we go back to quickly look at it, this is going to make it interesting now.
Oh, this is absolutely going to make it interesting. We've got... we'll see where Alex cycles out here, but I think if he comes out here and does not stop, he might be able to cycle out to the lead here on this. Not sure if Ryan Hart was able to get by him or not before that happened.
Now that'll be one to find out, as he is leaving his pit stall. So he went ahead and completed his service. Been interesting to see if he just drove through. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a penalty for just driving through your pit stall or pits and not pitting, or not.
No penalty for not pitting. Not sure if he would have got it or not. Assume that he was on top of that and probably made the right call on that one. So it does come out. I think Ryan Hartz then is probably our leader on this. Not showing it updated yet, but if Alex Walter went ahead and pit, I think Ryan Hartz is back to the lead.
And, all these guys getting back on the lead laps will show the color on there. And you can see all the way to Logan Brady. So 8 cars currently on the lead lap. And this is lucky for a lot of drivers. Had he decided he was going to take one more lap out there for Alex Walter, who is being scored as the leader now. But if he would have stayed out one more lap, he would have trapped a lot of cars or trucks here a lap down.
Yeah, and interesting too, they're under caution. It looked like we had contact from a couple guys. I saw the 15 car of Austin. I'm going to kill this name. I think you said Greater X or Greater O, something. I'll get it eventually. Somebody will phonetically type it in chat here for me maybe, but... saw him go shooting through the infield there after contact with, I think it was the 84, Matt Dyer.
Well, that definitely not good. And we'll go back and take a look at that real fast, and we'll find out as we're watching it right here on the replay screen. There, we'll see. Maybe not going back far enough, but we did see where he had went off track. So we'll see if we can figure out what happened to him. But, you get wrecks under the race, you get wrecks under caution, that's a little bit different. But there he is trying to go by, It was the 23 of Tanner Johnson. He was trying to get by him or something, and in the process, just overcorrected and drove it into the grass.
Well, I didn't hear any screaming over the radio, but getting hit under caution, I don't know what, or contact under caution, I don't know much that gets under a driver's skin more than that, than damage to your truck when it's not necessary. I don't know that he got any damage on that one, but surprised that we didn't hear any comments on the radio over that.
Yeah, it'd have been interesting to see, and of course, the driver that he almost did collide with, and I say almost, I do not believe there was contact there. There is damage on the back of the 23, but he could have had that prior to that little almost incident. He comes out of pit road, and that very well could have been what happened. Is the 23 was on pit road just now, so he obviously was wanting to come down, and maybe the 15 didn't realize it and was just trying to gas it and catch up to the field, and the 23 decided he wanted to pit, and one car slow, one car fast, you're going to catch them, and it looks like maybe that's what happened.
Well, something definitely happened there, but here we are, Charles, regrouping the field, 56 laps into this race. So, we've still got, about 80 laps to go here, just shy of 80 laps to go. Probably minimum 2 more pit stops the way these guys have been going on these pit stops. So, I wonder if the strategy changes here on this now. Are you out there trying to save gas? It seems like we're just a little bit past that, that window, maybe at the outer edge of that window or if you go 26 laps on a stint here, maybe you can make it to the end.
I think, there's a lot of strategy going on here tonight. Just as with any racing, I've been on the listening end of radio chatter before, whether it be this league, your own Northwest League. There is a lot of chatter that goes on between teammates and the drivers trying to figure out the best strategy. And the best strategy is the winning strategy. Who's on that strategy right now? Well, unfortunately, I can't say, and I don't think you can either.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, the winning strategy is usually, well, obviously not known until somebody wins, but multiple strategies out there. You have to see how they play out, but I'll be curious if we get some of these faster guys maybe going into a fuel-saving mode. As it looked like we're probably running somewhere in the neighborhood of half a fuel tank here on these trucks, which means that would really put them at the limit of their fuel run here. We take the green flag again, though.
We do take the green flag right now. Out of the 20 cars that started, we currently have 14 on the lead lap. And Justin Teal sitting on pit road. He's been there for 12 and a half minutes, almost 13 minutes. As the front of this field really stacked up. Ryan Hart's on the outside. Alex Walters still leading this race. But, the question is for how much longer with that 3 and the 46 giving him a lot of pressure.
Oh, watching the 2 there on that restart. I think that's the 2 there, or is it the 12? 21, I'll get it right one of these days. He got out of the groove there in corner 2.
Ooh, we got the 21 going around, too, of Tom Bourne. How that was not a caution, I don't know.
Yeah, he struggled on the previous corner, too. That's exactly what I was trying to talk about. Once he got up out of that groove, it just shot him up into that wall. He scraped the wall, came back down, thought it was a nice save, but obviously he outdid that on the next set of corners.
Yeah, he definitely did. Get some damage, and obviously somebody's going to have some front-end damage from getting into the back of him. But again, to the credit of these drivers, to get that truck completely sideways, enough that there was smoke coming where the tires were sliding across this racing surface, and a caution does not come out for it. that just shows you, how good these drivers are here on this racing sim.
Yeah, we've got some great side-by-side racing up here right now, though, with Logan Brakely and Shane Terrian, and then Tom Bourne and Eric Stamp right behind them there. So these guys are fighting a little bit harder there on the outside row this time by on this start. Oh, as the 53 gets loose, got down there on the apron, he saved it, and then he lost it, came back up into the 23 car there, got into the wall, and damaged the 23 as well.
And just got clobbered right after that. After the caution was already out, you talked about that. Nothing worse to a driver than getting hit under caution. Right there, and he almost takes out the 23, his own teammate. Is right there's the contact from Bronson Stafford, who just full steam ahead. Obviously, maybe didn't know the 53 was going to be sitting there, and just nails him. So we'll go back to look at Bronson Stafford's side of this, as that's a little late there. Let's go back here. We're going to go to Bronson Stafford as we go on board with him to see this contact, but a hard hit, as you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely a hard hit. He just got a little bit of that apron with his left front tire there, and got the wiggles. And he'd hit the wall previously, so he was struggling there. Not sure if he lost the handle on his truck a little bit previous to that, but he'd come off the wall. He went down to that line. Just went underneath that braking transition there a little bit, got a wiggle, and came up and just, made some pretty hard contact there.
That he did. And so we go back to live. And I said full steam ahead. As we went on board with Bronson Stafford, you can clearly hear, listening to that engine, you can tell he let off the gas. But in true wrecking style on any racetrack, all you see is a cloud of smoke. You don't know where the car is in front of you. And unfortunately, he doesn't have Harry out here telling him that there's a special set of tires on there to just go through it. And he went through it, and he found the 53.
He absolutely found the 53. Nowhere to go on that one. Nothing he could do. I think that's one of those where you just kind of grin, and grind some teeth.
Yeah, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it did not work out for him, so he'll have to regroup, and looks like he has retired it as well. He's on pit road, but he's been there for a little bit now, so he will have to just try again. And he is on pit road, so I would imagine his day is done, as well as the 53, because without a fast repair to get hit and then hit again, your night's pretty much done here.
Yeah, that'll definitely end your night. Aero's pretty important here, so it's going to be hard to do much of anything without a straight truck on this track. I think you can get away with maybe a little bit of rear end damage. Maybe if they cave in the bumper a little bit or something, as long as we don't kick that spoiler up too high in the air. But any significant aero damage there on the front, to the side, the splitter, or something like that, it's going to be real difficult, unless you find yourself with like a green-white checker or something there at the end to do much, on a race without a fast repair.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, just looking here, we're just now hitting the 40-minute mark in this race. So not a lot of time has passed, as we're 64 laps in on lap number 65 out of the 134. So laps will be winding down. It won't be long till we get to that 100 mark. And then, of course, it will be downhill from there for sure. But the caution's starting to come out a little bit more here in the later half of this race. And I really chalk that up to the fact that, as you said earlier, people are starting to be a little more aggressive. They're starting to push that outside lane, and the more aggressive and the more racy you get, the chances of a caution are going to go up as well.
Yeah, I think you had, some drivers fell back more spread out than you actually probably wanted. Sometimes, I don't want to call it panic, but maybe a sense of urgency kicks in. You say, well, I can't let that happen again. It's too late in the race. I can't bank on another caution and bunch up the field. So you're going to fight a lot more. And again, the caution came out, bunched the field up, cautions, breed cautions, all that stuff. So, but yeah, I think, after the field got so spread out the first time, we're bunched back up. You got a lot of these drivers saying, can't let that happen again. We're going to fight a little bit harder on the outside. We saw that the first restart.
We did see it, and this time we're going to take the green flag next time by. Again, I expect to see good racing from everybody here on this restart. I don't think we'll see too many issues. Everybody was just down pit road here about, let's see, now about 3 laps ago or so. With the exception of one driver, Austin Gretorix, who's showing his last pit stop, or sorry, not Austin Gretorix. Is it going to be, was it Josh? Yeah, it is Austin Gretorix. Was down on pit road on lap 56. So he's got significantly older tires, but he's starting at the back here. So, again, I don't think it'll be an issue. But what I was going to say here, we haven't done it yet. I think it's time to go on board with one of these drivers. So what do you say we go on board with that 48 machine of Christian Gomez, as he's going to try to get this thing started. As we'll go to his roll bar camera. And they are already under power as the green flag comes out. As we'll go silent here for just a minute, go a lap or two with Christian Gomez on board. All right, back live here as we're going to jump off board here, of course, with the 48 machine, who's in second place right now, as the front half of this field kind of single filed out already. But I'm looking to that number 10 of Steve Durham, and he may be trying to make moves, but so is that 84, Matt Dyer.
Yeah, we've still got some moves. Like you said, they did single out here. Guys are trying to get to the inside and make their moves on the inside. Not seeing a lot of guys fight too hard on that outside right now. We'll see here, though, right now, as we've got a couple cars here side by side. And it does look like there that Steve Durham and Logan Brakey are fighting a little bit harder now. The first couple cars we saw battle and looked like they were just in a hurry to get in line here. But we've definitely got Logan Brakey there. He's holding them off here on the outside. Looked like he got a nice run down the straightaway there, too.
Yeah, he definitely got a run. Hasn't been able to complete that pass yet in the 29 of Logan Brakey. He's going to try to break that momentum and shut the door. And he does successfully do it. The 10 of Durham has to slide back up in line, and that's going to not allow him or the 84 Matt Dyer to get by. And that's one thing you can do around here, especially if you kind of get in a little bit of momentum. If somebody's behind you, they can kind of get around that car with you by using your momentum. So we'll see if we see any of that as we're having passes being made for the 10th position. That is back there with Alex Walter, who was formerly our race leader not too long ago.
Yeah, and that actually was a defend by the 29 there. The 10 had got in position, jumped to the inside, and tried to make the pass. And the 29 of Logan Brakey there was actually able to defend that on the outside. So that's not easy to do, and maybe an indication that second line starting to come in a little bit for us. Be interested to see, though, did he use up a bunch of tire trying to pull that off on the outside line? Or is there enough rubber up there to really run that hard for that long?
Yeah, we'll be able to see that here probably soon, as Matt Dyer is going to dip down to the inside lane. He's going to shove the 10 up a little bit. Doesn't really, it didn't push him up, but he does let him know, hey, I'm down here, don't come down with me because we'll collide. and he's going to take that position fairly easy, a lot easier than the 10 tried to take it from the 29. So it begs to differ, how quickly is that 84 Matt Dyer going to be able to get by Logan Brakey, and then can he get to the front there with Ryan Hartz?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the 10 there wasn't just cooling some tires down. He just got done with a couple lap battle there. May have put a little temperature in there, may have decided to just give that one up and give his tires a little bit of a break here. But we've got two side by side. We'll see if Logan Brakey can hold him off this time on the outside too.
And just as you were talking about the battle there in the 10 of Steve Durham did scrape the wall just a little bit. I saw some sparks go flying, but it was not a viciously hard hit, so he will keep going. But the 29 definitely defending on the outside. As you see right there, he got a little bit of a run, and he was able to stay in front of that 84. And he is actually doing a really good job of defending it, but I think it's going to fade away here as that 84 Matt Dyer officially has that position.
Yeah, we'll see. He's definitely not giving anything up there while he's running on the outside. We'll see how long his tires hang in there. I got to wonder if he didn't put a hurting on him there. Maybe not. Thought maybe he was going to try to cross it over there, but I think he was content just getting back in line here.
And I think he is, and I think we have Brandon Kreutz back with us in the booth.
I am back. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah.
All right, well, I will skinny up to the booth here. Hopefully they haven't locked the door. They tried to last night on me, so we'll sneak up into the booth as I'm going to hand the mic over to Brandon as he's forcefully taking it from me. Anyway, so Brandon,
don't say that.
He handed it back to Brandon.
Welcome back, Brandon. I thought I had a new record for running the first chair out of the booth.
No, I'm back, and looks like these guys are still racing pretty hard from when I left. I see lap 78 and 134 on the board so far. Well, Jeff, what did I miss?
Well, we've had Ryan Hartz out there. He's pretty much had the dominant truck. We had a couple of green flag pit stops. Looks like we're running about a 25-lap field window here for most of these guys, give or take a couple laps. And a few differing pit strategies, but through them all, Ryan Hartz was able to pretty much maintain the lead. Caution here a few minutes ago just regrouped the field up, and we're back to racing again.
All right, and well, I've got some storms coming through here with upstate New York just starting to roll in, so I apologize if anything else happens to me. That was kind of directed towards our producer, Charles Wheaton. But so far, so good. Looks like these guys running real close up here right now, focusing on Christian Gomez, as these guys are going to go side by side back here for, I believe, what is the 6th position. And this is car 48 up top, looking like he's going to end up losing a little bit at the high side of the racetrack here. It looks like that low line is still the favorable line here at Charlotte, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. 29 right now is really the only one we've seen that's been able to kind of hold things off here on that top line. He's been putting up a pretty big fight on the top line, but everybody else seems to kind of be giving it up when they're up there.
So these guys still gonna battle it out here as the 29 up top. That's Logan Brakey trying to hold position up there on the high side, trying to use a little bit of momentum. He's going to clear that 51 machine. Now he's going to be able to hang on to that 6th position. 51 right behind him now. And these guys continuing to fight it out for the latter half of the top 5.
Yeah, this group here has been putting on a heck of a show. We've got the 29 there of Logan Brakey, the 21 of Tom Bourne, the 51 Alex Walter. Shane Tyrion was just in that group. These guys have been trading places for probably going on about 10 laps right now. It looks like they finally settled into a little bit of single file here. And just as I say that, I think the 51 is going to peek inside and try to get in there again. And here we are with another side-by-side battle.
Side by side in the latter half of the top 10, 63 up top, 10 car down on the bottom, Steve Durham, and it looks like it's going to be Alex Walter up at the top of this thing as Durham's going to clear for that position. That's going to be for position number 8. And now 63 cuts down. Walter down low. Going to clear for that position. And here comes, I believe, 48 behind him.
Yeah, meanwhile, the 51 ducks back underneath the 29. They are side by side again. 29 held him off last time, but 51 clears him this time, and the 29 will duck behind him in that battle.
So those guys get a single out once again. Lot of drafting going on, it looks like, here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that's exactly what you got to do in these momentum-based trucks. You really got to try to hold the advantage, and, lot of drafting techniques able to be used on these big mile-and-a-half speedways by these guys, as, and I believe that's going to be adjusted here also, the iRacing service, trying to make everything as realistic as possible, and I've heard rumors that they're going to even increase that a little bit more to kind of be a little bit more relative to real life, as all of these guys in the truck series in real life like to use a lot of drafting here for these mile-and-a-halves and, of course, the 2-mile speedways. Looks like more pit stops going on now. Christian Gomez down in pit lane.
Yeah, these trucks really are momentum-based. This new engine package that they came out here with about a year ago, and the gearing package that they came out with, the Master Real Life, engine package that they switched to in the trucks, really turn these into momentum-based. Really hard to get up to speed. So drafting takes a while to build that speed up. So drafting definitely plays a huge part in all this. Looks like we're starting to get spread out here a little bit, though. Battles are getting fewer and far in between, as we do see some guys pulling off for some pit stops here.
So still going on for pit stops now, and it's got a little bit of a side-by-side battle for the third position now. 38 down low. That 38 car is going to be Shane Zarin down on the low side, trying to gain ground, and he's going to do just that, trying to clear the 46. 46 is going to be Trenton Jump.
Yeah, 46 able to clear him. Looks like Shane Terry going to tuck in back. Shane Terry able to make the clear, and the 46 at Trenton Jump has to jump in back there. No pun intended on that. Looks like the 46 car, too, does have a little bit of rear end damage there. I hadn't noticed that before. I don't know if that's affecting him at all.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks like we see Jump trying to get right on the quarter panel at Zarin as we go on board with him. These guys going to continue to battle it out. They're going to single out so far, and looks like 3 trucks under a blanket as they're starting to close in on that 84, Matt Dyer.
Yeah, right now, that's the only real battle that I see going on the track. Been looking around, everything else is pretty much spread out. We are coming up on about lap 26 here right now of this run for these guys. So, this is about as far as we've seen the group as a whole go on these pit stops. So, I think we probably should be looking for kind of a en masse pit stop here in the next couple laps. So, previous pit stops were pretty spread out, but I think we're going to see a big group pit here in the next lap or two.
As looks like, I believe the 84 of Dyer may have just come in, according to looking at timing. So that he does it. He brings 2 or 3 other trucks down pit lane with him. So this is going to be 4 tires in the field for this group, looking for the 38 and the 46 to come in next.
Yeah, we've got I think 4 or 5 cars there. The top 7 are still all out there on old tires. Looks like we've got Ryan Hart's our leaders on pit road right now. Or the guy who's led most of the race. Sorry about that. I'm having problems with the timing screen right now, so I apologize for that. Trying to catch back up here. All right, back to our leader here. 38, Shane Terrian still in the lead, followed by the 46 of Trenton Jump. 21 of Thomas Bourne is in third. Steve Durham, the 10 truck, in fourth place. These are the top 4 guys who have yet to pit. They're all going on about lap 30 right now, so a couple caution laps underneath there, but these guys are going to have to pit real quick. When this all cycles out, expect number 3, Ryan Hartz, to probably take the lead back, as he is the 5th plus car and the first car of this next group with fresh tires.
That he is. Ryan Hartz, we know to be a fast driver every single week on the racetrack, and he's showing that. It appears tonight as well. So still waiting for this group to cycle through green flag stops, as they are really starting to push it here on tires and fuel.
Yeah, this is definitely as far as we've seen them go tonight. Obviously, again, we did have some caution laps on here, but certainly these guys have stayed out to the point right now where they've just got to be hoping for a caution. They're losing a ton of time to Ryan Hartz on fresh tires right now, pushing about a half second a lap right now, as it looks like Shane Terrian and Trenton Jump did come down, so 2 of these guys did pit.
Yeah, they are. They're on pit lane now, and it looks like clean on pit road and clean into the boxes. These guys are going to go for 4 tires and fuel down here. Right side's going up on both of these race vehicles right now, and the 46 is off, and as well as the 38.
Yeah, Tom Bourne in that 21 still turning laps out there. And just as I say that, he comes down pit road now. So the lead should cycle around to Ryan Hartz here. Tom Bourne still being shown in the lead. Ryan Hartz should be the leader here as they cross the start-finish line.
So this should cycle back around to the 3 of Ryan Hartz, as he'll come around and he'll pass Tom Bourne as he's still on the pit lane right now. So again, new leader this time by at the line. It's going to be the 3 of Ryan Hartz, a new old leader, I should say, as green flag stops cycle through. So Ryan Hartz being scored in the lead. It should be Jared Matthew in that second position, and Logan Brakey rounding out the top 3 right now.
Yeah, following up behind Logan Brakey, we've got Shane Terrian in 4th place, Christian Gomez in 5th place, Trenton Jump in P6, and Josh Coley rounds out our top 7 there right now. Matt Dyer in P8, Alex Walter in 9th, and Dylan Poteet make up the top 10.
So that is your field rundown at the moment, and most of everybody on the lead lap, with the exception of a few cars, and Calvin Greatorex is going to be, or Greatorex is going to be the first car 1 lap down at the moment. So Dylan Brown is going to be 2 laps down, 8 laps down, Tanner Johnson, and so on and so forth from there. So most of the field still on the lead lap, and I believe Greatorex and Browning still have a good opportunity to get both their laps back. So if we have anything that happens throughout the race.
Yeah, Ryan Hart's out to a pretty commanding lead right now. I think he's cycled out front with about a 7-second lead there is what I'm showing. But Jared Matthew, Shane Terrian, and Logan Brakey, all within a second of each other. Look like that's where probably the next battle is going to be.
So most of these guys pretty well singled out right now. A possible battle going on in the latter half of the top 10, but those guys still fairly good distance apart from one another, as we'll focus down on the 63 of Alex Walter now. He's starting to break away from the truck behind him, and that's going to be Josh Coley behind him. But all of these guys right now singled out. The 63 coming up with a head of steam to the back bump of the 48 now.
And watching the 63 here, he's going to clear the 48. 48 going to tuck back in line. Really no contest right now on that one, as the 63's got about 5-lap newer tires. And big difference here on speed, almost 6 miles an hour when he cleared him.
Yeah, so carrying a lot of speed there. It looks like pulling in a little bit of a later apex than a couple other those drivers back there, and does it with ease, as I believe he does have the newer tires out of those guys that he just passed. So 63 Alex Walter starting to maintain the ground and gain ground throughout the top 10.
Yeah, 38 Sharon Terry and on the bumper of Jared Matthau now in the battle for second and third place as they battle a little bit of lap traffic. Shane Terry in there gets right up on his bumper, pulls to the inside, and makes his move here on second place.
Taryn in the 38 going to go by and gain second position with ease, and now granted, he has quite a bit of time to make up on the 3 of Ryan Hartz. He may need a little bit of help from that yellow flag, as he's gaining a good amount of time per lap, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, Shane Terry and maybe Gray maybe picking up a tenth a lap right now. With roughly about 31 laps left, probably not going to make up that 8 seconds. I think he's going to need another caution here in order to close that gap, or at least he's hoping for one. As is probably everybody else in this field, Ryan Hartz has just pretty much checked out on these guys here right now.
And that he has. We got a little bit of a battle shaping up back here. Logan Brakey up on the high side, and that's going to be the 46 of Gretorix down, or Trenton Jump down low, I'm sorry. So they were going around the lap truck of Gretorix back there, I do believe.
Yeah, lap traffic kind of slowed that battle down a little bit. We'll see if Logan Brakey here in that 29 can regroup. He's probably the only driver I've seen make passes or at least defend on the top side tonight. So he's got the high line working in that truck. We'll see if he can catch back up there, how he approaches this pass. But he's been kind of interesting to watch there, working that high line tonight.
Yeah, it looks like one of the few guys to really be able to make it work. So I noticed the 29 car, he is running about half a groove to a groove up on the racetrack from everybody else. So, really interesting line there from that 29 crew.
Yeah, back a little bit further there, you've got the 31 of Dylan Poteet. And, boy, I hope I got that right. Looks like he's trying to pass Josh Coley there in the 33 on the outside, and he's going to pull that off, actually, with ease. Josh Coley in the 33 does look like he has some damage, so that may explain why Dylan was able to get by so easily for 8th place. But Dylan completes the pass, and he's already put about 5 car lengths on him. So Josh Coley clearly off pace back there right now.
Yeah, that he is. And, as you mentioned, a little bit of damage to that race vehicle. So Dylan Patets are going to be gaining that position on him.
Drivers are getting just a little bit spread out. Battles are getting few and farther in between here right now. But 46 at Trenton Jump looks like he's coming up on the 51 of Jared Matthau here pretty quick. So, and just as I say that, he peeks inside, gets up on his bumper. Now he's going to take it to the inside. And the difference in tires.
Oh, man.
Sorry?
That's close call between the 51 and the 46 there. Sorry, Jeff. Near catastrophe there for the 46 truck as he slid up the racetrack just a little bit across the nose of the 51, and I think there had to have been a little bit of give there by Matthew.
Yeah, it did look like he pedaled it there a little bit. I think these tires are just starting to get a little bit worn there. Looked like he pushed a little bit. Be interesting here. We obviously don't have enough fuel to make it the entire run. I'm kind of expecting maybe we'll see some of these guys short pit a little bit here. We've got about 16 laps to go. And most of our leaders have about 18, 19 laps on tires. So I'm surprised somebody hasn't short pit yet, but I'm kind of wondering who the first one to do that might be.
So as we go to pit road now, looks like Christian Gomez is going to be down there for another pit stop. And I don't imagine that it was a planned pit stop. So possibly, or maybe it was, 38 Shane Terrian back there also.
Yeah, they all have one more. That none of them have enough. They've got to stop one more time. So, again, I'm surprised that a couple of these guys didn't short pit this a little bit more, although it's going to take more than a short pit to make up that 8-second gap that they were facing with our leader, who is Ryan Hartz now at almost 9 seconds.
That they caught me caught me off guard there as I guess the laps tick off pretty quick here. So these guys coming down pit road once again is gonna cycle through green flag stops one more time.
Yeah, leader Ryan Hart's down pit road in the number 3. Maybe thinking the same thing we were. He's not going to let anybody short pit him on this one, so he stops for the final time. We've got several drivers in the pits right now. Logan Brakey, Trenton Jump, 2 other front runners right now also taking service for the final time as I watched the 46 at Trenton Jump come out of his pit box and head for the apron.
Yep, so all these guys coming down for one last stop here within the last 30 laps of this race. And looks like so far so good on pit road. Just about everybody that's come in has been clean in and clean out. And I haven't seen any major mishaps yet. So all good for these drivers on pit road.
Yeah, meanwhile, the 84 of Matt Dyer and the 63 of Alex Walters, as we've seen other times tonight, staying out there on the old tires, hoping for a caution here. I think this is probably their best chance tonight. So guessing they're going to try to run this out. But Alex Walter in the lead right now out there on about 23 lap old tires.
Absolutely he is. So Alex Walter in the 63. We know he was making his way through the latter half of the top 10, and obviously he's going to have to pit one more time tonight also. So just going to stay out there, and like you said, Jeff, just hope that a yellow flag will come. Best case scenario for him, and it would not be favorable for the guys that have just been on pit road, that's for sure.
No, we've got a lot of different strategies in place. 3 guys staying out at the front of this. Still going to have to pit. Ryan Hart's actually 2 of them just pit. Tom Bourne and the number 21 and the 31 of Dylan Poteet both down pit road this time by Ryan Hart back up to second place. Alex Walter, the only one out there, still waiting for that caution flag to wave. At least of the leaders, I believe he's the last one out there right now.
That he is. So and just looking at timing, I do believe that once that 63 pits, he is going to be back towards the back half of the top 10 once again. So between that tire fall off and it was already quite a bit of a ways back on the timing board from your leaders. So this should cycle back to Hart as we almost saw a catastrophe there on the backstretch. 48 Christian Gomes had avoid a truck up to the outside wall there. No caution. We stayed green, but a close call for those guys back there.
Yeah, and we just had 3 wide with Ryan Hart having to come through the middle there of, I'm not even sure who that was now. I think it was Dylan Poteet there. His cars were getting up to speed, and he split the middle there. They went 3 wide as Ryan Hart gets back into second place. And looking at timing and watching Alex Walter here a little bit, I wonder if he's not trying to save some fuel and maybe make a run for it. Seems like he'd have to stretch it a little bit in here.
Maybe we do, and Ryan Hart still looks like about 11 seconds back on the timing board, and he gains about a second on him that time around. So obviously closing in fast is that 3 machine of Hart's, but yeah, maybe a little bit of strategy being played here by this 63 team of Alex Walter. This could be interesting.
Yeah, I was riding on board there for a minute. I'm not seeing any clutching when I was watching it from the TV cameras. I thought maybe he was a little bit. Could just be the difference in the tires, these fresh tires. These guys are just blowing right by him right now. But it would be quite a stretch to think that maybe he could make it. I think he was about 10 laps short. But, yeah, at this point, maybe it's just save a little bit of gas and just stay out there as absolutely long as you can. I'm hoping that caution comes before you're forced to pit.
Absolutely. So Hart's within about 7 seconds of Alex Walter now as we see the 63 coming to pit road now.
Well, so much for that strategy. Just when I think I've got something figured out, I don't. This will cycle Ryan Hart's back up to the lead. and I believe he's going to have somewhere in the vicinity of about a 7 or 8 second lead over Shane Terrian when these cycle out. So Shane Terrian to second, and I'm not sure what the gap there is right now, but it's pretty significant. I think the only thing that's going to keep Ryan Hart right now from taking the green flag, if this thing stays green, is going to be Ryan Hart.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ryan Hart's your leader once again. Shane Terrian about 7 or so seconds back from your leader of Hearts. So as long as Hearts can keep all 4 wheels underneath them, the checker flag is looking bright for the 3 teams' future.
Absolutely. Looking back in the field there, 31 of Dylan Proteet on the bumper of Steve Durham. It seems like every time we turn around, these two guys are battling all night long. Doesn't look like he made a move yet. He was peeking to the inside like he wants to. Meanwhile, second place Shane Terrian coming up on these guys as they were getting ready to battle, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and let him around. So thought we had a battle brewing. Lead lap car came by, and looks like they're going to let Shane Terrian by.
That they do. Terrian, no battle there, and now ducks underneath the other lap truck up above him, and that looks to be Dylan Petit there and that 31 machine. So all of these guys going around. So Shane Terrian, no trouble there, as he's going to continue to try to take laps and try to maybe attempt to gain crowns on your leader, but Hartz is pulling away from him at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Hartz has been he's been kind of the class of the field tonight. I don't think he's under any danger right now. Shane Terrian, quite a ways to go to catch up, and then behind him you've got Trenton Jump in third place. I think almost 13 seconds behind the leader right now. So. And then the next probably closest place battle for position there would be Jared Matthew, about 2 seconds behind, 1.5 to 2 seconds behind Trenton Jump there for fourth place.
So
going through. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
Going through the field there just a little bit further. Fifth place we've got Logan Brakey. Sixth place we've got Matt Dyer. Seventh place is Tom Bourne. And in eighth place, we've got Josh Coley. And then rounding out the top 10, we've got Alex Walter in ninth and Christian Gomez in 10th place right now.
So that is latter half of the top 10 there. And all of these guys single file at the moment. And coming up on, or they are at the 10 lap to go mark already, coming around now. 9 laps to go in this race. So the long 134 laps for these guys ticked off fairly quickly here tonight. And Ryan Hartz looking like he's got a bad fast race machine that has a very, very good possibility of grabbing the win. He's still pulling away from the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only battle for position that we're possibly looking at right now is the 46 of Trenton Jump and the 51 of Jared Mathau, and that actually seems like it's leveled off. There's about a 1.5 seconds there. Jared looks like maybe he closes the gap, getting in the corners a little bit, but Trenton Jump seems to be a little bit better off. So that battle at this point in time doesn't look like it's going to develop here. I think at this point we're just pretty much spread out, and I think everybody's riding to the end, and we'll see. Maybe we get a caution and bunches this field back up before it's over.
Yeah, everybody riding. I think everybody is pretty content of where they are right now. Only 7 cars on the lead lap of a 19-car field. So all of these guys, or a 20-car field rather, and so all of these guys just trying to ride. We've got, let's see, 2, 4, 6 cars 1 lap down, battling back there. So all these guys just pretty content in their positions, so it seems right now. And of course, Josh Coley being the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, I'm still watching the 51 there, wondering if we might get a battle for third spot there. Maybe that final podium position. Jared Matthew, about a 10th faster that time by 5 laps to go, though. If he's going to run him down, he's going to need to gain a little bit faster than that. Other than that, there's not a whole lot going on throughout the field here right now. Not a whole lot of changing the positions. We're just kind of counting the laps down here and watching Ryan Hartz drive away with this thing.
And possible battle for the 10th position back here as Dylan Petit is starting to close in on these guys. Of course, both of those drivers are 1 lap down, but it is a battle for position out there. As looks like Gomez gets passed by the 38 of Taryn. He's your second placement up there, and it's something to point out as we watch this battle start to develop. Taryn has fallen back to about 11 seconds back from second place now. So Ryan Hartz is continuing to pull away as laps tick off, and now 31 underneath the 48 of Gomez now, and these guys are going to be side by side down into corner number 3. Look out, contact up into the outside wall goes the 48. He's going to collect it, and I'm sure not going to be happy about that one at all, as 31 slid up the track just a little bit to give the position to Dylan Petit, but Gomez, I'm sure, going to be a little bit fuming after that little bit of contact there.
And just ahead of them, Alex Walter in the 63, turning the fastest laps on the track right now, too, I might add, but also on the freshest tires. Passes Josh Culley for the 8th position with ease. So Alex Walter, I think 12 laps on those tires, about 10 laps fresher tires than most of the rest of the field. Just kind of working his way up through traffic here, seeing how many places he can tick off here in the next couple laps.
So already coming up towards the end of this race here as all of these guys are, again, just hanging on to position. So white flag already in the air for the 3 of Ryan Hartz. We've seen he's been fast all race long. On the back straightaway now, and just 2 more corners to go before he sees the checkered flag. Ryan Hartz again showing speed week after week, and now he's going to get it done here tonight. It's coming out of corner number 4. Your race winner on the night here at Charlotte, Ryan Hartz. Second place going to go to the 38 of Taryn down out of corner number 4 now, as those guys just now crossing the line. Trenton Jump going to be scored in that 3rd position.
In 4th place, we've got Jared Matthew coming across Logan Brakely in 5th, Matt Dyer in 6th, and Tom Bourne going to come across here in 7th place.
So all of these drivers doing a fantastic job tonight. It's nice and clean and green there towards the end of this race, as Hartz is going to bring it down to the front straightaway and hopefully burn it down for us here. Is a well-deserved victory for this 3 team on the night. They've been clean all night. Pit stops have been nice, clean in, clean out. And now the 3 machine going to be victorious here tonight as we get ready to run down your race results. The 3 car is going to burn it down here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race results on the night coming in first position. Your race winner on the night is going to be the 3 car Ryan Hart. Shane Tarrant coming in 2nd. Trenton Jump finishing in that 3rd spot. 4th is going to be Jared Matthews. Logan Brakey finishing 5th. 6th is going to be Matt Dyer. 7th is going to be Tom Bourne. AJ Walter finishing 8th. 9th place is going to be Josh Culley. Dylan Petit finishing in that 10th spot. Jeff.
Yeah, in 11th, we've got Christian Gomez. In 12th place, we got Steve Durham. Austin, I still can't pronounce his name. And Austin, I apologize, but Gretorix or Rhetorics in 13th place. In 14th, we've got Dylan Browning. 15th, Calvin Gretorix. In 16th, Tanner Johnson. Matthew Rodriguez in 17th place. Eric Stamp in 18th. In 19th, we've got Bronson Stafford. And rounding out the top 20 is Justin Teal.
So with that, we're going to try to gather up all these guys and see if we can get some interviews in. We're going to go to a quick break. Stick around for the post-race show. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back getting a few things squared away, but of course, it is that time once again for your Clan Wars server post race show. Of course, Clan Wars servers, your official communication partner of LSR TV. And we have caught up with a third place driver that is going to, of course, be if we'll get it all sorted out here for ourselves, Trenton Jump. So we'll hand it over to Brandon, who I believe has caught it with him on pit road.
Yeah, down here in pit road, third place finisher Trenton Jump. Trenton, you come home with a solid podium finish here tonight. How you feeling after tonight's events?
I'm feeling a lot better than last week. I didn't get wrecked out early, so it was a pretty good race. Pretty wild at some points, but last half of the race is pretty good for me, so I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. And, solid last half of this race for you. Of course, I had to scurry out of the booth for a little bit, so I really can't follow much of your stats throughout the race. I know that you had a pretty good night on the nights, showing you started 17th. You end up with a podium finish, man. You had to battle your way all the way up front, and of course, that's nothing to hang your head about.
Nah, by no means was it easy, and I missed qualifying and came back and was all stressed out and worried that I wasn't gonna have no shot to get up at the front, and just kept picking away at it. And I don't know. Everybody said their tires were falling off, and I felt fine. So I guess I wasn't running hard enough. I guess.
Well, you battled your way up front. You managed to get there, and you come home with a solid podium finish here on the night. Trent, is there anybody that you'd like to thank or shout out to here for your performance tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you and Charles at LSR TV for broadcasting and commentating this really big deal for us, and we're lucky to have you guys. And want to thank Justin Teal at That Color Teal Designs for painting the trucks. They always look great. So.
All right, awesome job tonight, Trenton, and again, thanks for talking about this.
Yeah, no problem.
And now I do believe Charles is caught up with second placeman Shane Aaron.
I have indeed. We're down here on the pit road with Shane Therian. Shane, you come in second place here. A bad fast truck there. Evil Controllers living up to his name, as that was an evil fast car, or truck in this case, you could say. It just came up a little bit short here. What do you think you needed in that truck to be able to run down Ryan Hartz here in those final laps?
Figure out how to run fast and not have worn my tires. I don't know what Hart was doing, but after like 15 laps, I would catch it, but it was just too late. The fuel mileage. Sometimes I like short fuel, but in this case, I would have liked full fuel because I think it would have been a lot closer. But I don't think I would have had anything for Hart's.
A second place finish isn't bad overall. We have the chase coming up after this week, and I believe some super speedways and some short tracks coming up in there. Overall, you're looking forward to the chase for those last, I believe, 5 races. It is quite the mix-up of tracks.
Yeah, I am. I think we're at Vegas next week, but the guys voted for Milwaukee for race 2, which is good because I for one didn't want a repeat track. I want Dover. I was like, we're not going back there, so we got people to vote for Milwaukee, so they were going there week 2, and then we just voted for Dega. I think it was coming up in a couple weeks, so it's going to be those 2 tracks are either kill championship or win it. So we'll have to see what happens.
We'll definitely be looking forward to see how it all works out for all the chase drivers. And of course, again, congrats on that second place finish. And we know you got sponsors on that car, some really cool sponsors as well. So who'd those be here for that second place finish?
Yeah, I was gonna thank you guys for broadcasting. It's cool to be talking to you again, Charles, after my last couple of races. Usually, and then Evil Controllers, of course, still with me every race I'd race, last 7 years, and then Rogue Energy's been on for just a year now, and then of course my Sky Motorsports team.
Well, definitely good to talk to you as well. Your second place finisher, Shane Therian, in the number 38 machine. And that will bring us to our race winner, that number 3 now, not the 11, but the 3 of Ryan Hartz, and Brandon's caught up with him in victory lane.
Yeah, down here on victory lane now. He's out of the race truck. Your race winner of the night's Ryan Hartz. Ryan, you're bad fast every week. You, along with a few others, you had a really strong performance. You win this thing by almost 12 seconds. How you feeling?
Good. truck was pretty good. I saved tires for like the first 10 laps, and I just was bad fast after that. I could pull away by like 3/10 each lap. Didn't really matter who was in second. Um, feel like I played the fuel strategy right. Didn't really have any things to deal with. I wasn't really around people a lot. I wasn't really battling for position. But overall, truck was good. Glad I won it.
Yeah, for sure. And, it seemed like you were able to save those tires a little bit better than everybody else out there. Were you just not pushing it as hard, or, maybe running it a different line than anybody else? Um, I don't blame you if you don't want to give that secret away, but, obviously running faster times there towards the end of that run than everybody else was.
I mean, ever since this new tire model came out, I've just been saving really, really hard every single race. I've just been immune to it now. I always just try and save my tires because it seems like I wear my tires out really easy in races, and I just try to back off a lot. And you know, but tonight when I went into the race, I tried to save his tires as best I could and tried to keep track position as best I could too. And I did that, and I knew once I got out to like a 7-second lead, I didn't have to save as much because it wasn't going to matter. Yeah, I don't want to give any secrets away, but no, it does work for me. It does.
Well, and it showed tonight. You were running really fast lap times there, consistent lap times all night tonight. And, you started on pole, you win the race. So, a really good night for you. Was there anybody that you'd like to thank or give a shout out to here for your performance tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys for doing the broadcast. I haven't seen you in a while, Brandon. I miss you on PTR TV for Hardline. I miss having you there. I want to thank IRLC Motorsports. Jared did a really good job tonight. I think that's one of his best finishes of the season. He took the lead from me earlier in the race, so that was good for him. Glad he got a good finish after speeding. And thank you to Nexus Esports. I like seeing those colors on in Victory Lane. That's a new truck that I have, and running Road to Pro with it. I haven't had the best of luck in the first two races, but we're still grinding and still trying to find speed. So thank you to them, and thank you to all the guys out here for racing good.
Awesome job, Ryan, and I miss those old days too. And a good talking to you once again, and hopefully we'll catch up with you in Victory Lane again here soon.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was your race winner on the night, Ryan Hartz. And, of course, what a show here tonight, says Ryan Hartz putting on a dominating victory on the night. So that'll wrap it up here for us on LSR TV. And for myself, Brandon Kreutz, Jeff Stab now, and Charles Wooten here, and everybody here at the Adrenaline iRacing League, we'll catch you next week, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, we bid you good racing and a good night.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.